Alright, Horror Hounds, and welcome to an episode of This Just In. Today we're going to be talking about Season 2, Episode 1 of Chucky. It just aired on Wednesday night, and they named it Halloween 2, so we get to have a nice little fun Halloween setting. I'm going to go over the things I was in on, things I mixed on, and the things I was out on. At the end of this, I will not be giving it an overall rating, but I will let you know if it was entertaining to me or not. We're not going to do any rating because I don't know how I'm going to feel about this episode. A few more episodes down the road, I might be like mixed on this one. I might like this one a lot, and then 2 episodes later, this one could be complete shit, or it could be awesome and set a lot of great things up. So, starting off with the things I'm in on. Chucky. Chucky does a great job. I like Chucky. He's always fun, and this one he's more calm, cool, collected. We do get a spot with a bunch of Chuckies all on the top of a truck. We get the interaction of 3 Chuckies and one's bald, that kind of joke that they play, and we saw that in the preview. But overall, Chucky does good. Another thing I'm in on is the cast. The kid actors come back to reprise their roles. I think Jake did a good job. Devin did a good job. Their whole relationship, and they're being a little bit more honest, open, and not being so timid and shy and scared. They did a pretty good role with that, and Lexi now being a drug addict and her life is miserable. I feel like she played that role really well. I also think Lexi's little sister did a pretty good job in her role of being terrified of dolls after what happened with Chucky in Season 1. And Jake's new little brother from being in the foster family, I found him to be fun at first and then annoying. He does a lot of Batman lines. Like, he's dressed up as Robin, and he does a lot of that, "Holy Toledo's, Batman!" And just over and over and over and over and over and over again, to where it makes him seem like he's the dumb movie and like the dumb character in a movie. He 100% plays that role, so he can be kind of annoying. Another thing I was in on was the homages in this episode. So the first one we get is Strangers. On the movie Strangers, they get a phone call and someone asks, "Is tomorrow home?" And this one, Jake gets a phone call and somebody asks him, "Is tomorrow home?" Nice little homage there. Obviously, it's Chucky on the phone. And kind of when he's yelling at the other person on the phone angrily, you get that Chucky assholeness, kind of like you saw in the first Scream movie, where when she starts hanging up on him, he eventually says he's going to kill her. One other homage that I noticed at the end of this was ScoobyDoo. Yes, Chucky tells him that he would have got away with his master plan if those meddling kids didn't get in the way. Literally a line from Scooby-Doo. And he's talking about how he had all the dolls going and then Andy drove them off a cliff. Which, going from that, we're going to go into my mixed stuff. Things I'm mixed on. Right now, I'm mixed on the counselor, psychiatrist lady. So Lexi and her mom and her sister go see this psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist hands them a doll. It's the Bride of Chucky doll, but it's the bride doll before Tiffany turned it over, so it's just in the white gown. And she's using this with Lexi to try to get Lexi over her fear of dolls. Really weird and convenient that there are only a few made, and she has one. And then later in the episode, when the 3 kids are going to be going off to the church setting, where it's like the school for the kids that are bad, she's the one who suggests sending them there, which is ironic because it's the exact same location where Charles Lee Ray went when he was their age and he was troubled. It's all too convenient, and we'll have to figure out what she is. So I'm putting her in the mix for now because I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or if it's going to be some stupid answer. Another mixed element for me was the opening. I liked seeing the Chuckies and the Tiffany doll with Andy, but he's driving that truck, and then the dolls start kind of climbing all on top of it. It's a really cool looking scene. I'll give him credit. The scene looks cool. Then he just drives it off a truck, and we don't hear from Andy again in the episode. They do reference that nobody found his body. So in horror, that means he's probably alive, but we don't know. But it was another one of those things, like I said from the last season, like he was barely in there, like an afterthought, which I know they want to follow the kids, but he got like 5 minutes. And that was about it. Another thing I was mixed on was the overall plot line. Chucky going to Lexi's house, but being on a video call with Devin and Jake all at the same time. And that's his master plan to get them there. It's a little meh. I know he's trying to be more kind of like diabolical or supervillain ish, which kind of goes with the whole Jake being Batman and his little foster brother being Robin throughout part of this episode. But I was just a little mixed on that one. Um, his goal is he gets all of them there, and he's going to blow them up with a homemade bomb. Yes, a homemade bomb. And to their credit, they end up tasing Chucky. He drops that bomb, and Jake's new little brother runs off with it like he's going to run with it outside, thinks it's this cool thing. And Chucky jumps on his back and presses a button, and boom! First kill of season 2. Dead kid. 5 or 6 years old kid, just blown to smithereens. So, takes some balls to do that, especially for a TV show. You're going to kill a kid right off the bat. There's only one thing I'm really out on in the entire episode, and that is once the kid dies, we then cut to the 3, Lexi, Jake, and Devin. We cut to them in a room being talked to, and how it's horrible for a parent to lose a child. Like, all these children have seen tons of people die in the last year. They've all had a shit life for the last year since Chucky got introduced into their lives. But then they end up sending them to the school for the bad kids, which is the church. It was very convenient that all 3 people are magically the ones who are bad, and they're the ones going. And then when we see them go there, they're the only 3 kids on the entire bus. I mean, maybe they were the only 3 bad kids at this time. They do mention some other kid who used to be an asshole in their school is there, but they must be setting up for something to come up. And then at the very end of the episode, just so we all know that there's more hijinks going to be happening, the same truck, which I was paying attention to this now, and the truck that drives in Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, in Season 1, it's the same brand of truck that delivers these Chucky dolls, which is usually always the one that Tiffany was sending them in. We only get to see somebody dropping a box off that looks like it's going to contain a good guy doll. And then the episode ends. So we'll have to wait and see what Chucky's going to do now that we're inside this church setting. Another out for me on this one was there was no Tiffany besides flashbacks. And I know that it's been a year since the last season aired, but there was a few too many flashbacks in my eyes for the first episode. And there was 0 Fiona. Fiona Dorff was not in this movie at all as Nika, or in this episode at all as Nika. So I thought that was kind of another thing that I would be out on. Overall thoughts on the episode? It was decent. There was some fun spots in it. Chucky was his normal badass, but not anywhere near as much as he has been in the past. Like, and you watch the finale of the last season and how he acts when he's murdering all the people inside the theater, and then how he acts in this one is completely different, and he completely sacrifices himself because he knows there's more of him running around. But overall, it's an entertaining episode. We'll have to see how it swings things going on. We'll have to wait and see how things look in this new setting, how they do with that. And most of all, at this point in time, is Andy alive? Does he come back? How do the 3 kids do in the new setting? And the last thing for me is, who's this lady who magically has a Bride of Chucky doll and also sends him to the school that Charles Lee Ray went to when he was bad? Ooh, and one last little gripe, just because I gotta throw this out there. They mention the dolls from the movie Bride of Chucky. Bride of Chucky is a movie. that we have all watched. But they have never said anything about Bride of Chucky being a movie in this universe. They had the Chucky Goes Psycho movie that they were filming in part 5, their Seed of Chucky. And they mentioned Jennifer Tilly played his bride, and Tiffany Valentine took over Jennifer's body. So there's like a small connection there on that. But there was never any real proof that Bride of Chucky exists in this universe as a movie that people watched. Because that just completely shits on the whole plot of her having a baby at the end and Seed of Chucky about that baby meeting them because now they're movie stars after all the events. It doesn't make sense. That is my one big gripe. Like I said, I was out on a couple things, but that's probably my biggest one. Is it completely fucks with the whole continuity of the movies that we've watched previously in season 1. Alright, so if I can have you guys give me a like, subscribe, write any comments down below if you would like. Maybe you know why Bride of Chucky's a movie and I don't. Other than that, hit the notification bell. See what I got coming out here in the coming weeks with the Halloween franchise. And catching me on the next one when I'm going to review Season 2, Episode 2. Until then, rest in peace.